Hey everybody, this is Gary Dranow from the Gary Dranow Song Lab, and today we're going to be talking about a controversy that has arisen in the music generation world. There is a video out there that says "Goodbye Suno," claiming that Riffusion is now king. Well, I've done a deep dive into this, and I'm going to give you the facts and my opinions on what is going on as far as music generation, AI music generation goes now. So let's get into it. The video that claims Riffusion is the new AI king is a bold statement. So I decided to investigate that claim, not from a casual user, but from a professional music producer's point of view. Because there's a big difference between recording something that sounds good and is fun, and recording something that you can use in the real world. Now, before I get into this, I want to say this clearly. If you just want to have fun with AI, all the platforms are fun. They work. You can generate lyrics, music, full produced pieces. If that's what you want to do, then Riffusion will certainly work for you. Udio is a bit workflow heavy, so I wouldn't recommend that. Marika is fun, and Suno is a lot of fun. But again, that's not the point of this video. We're going to be talking about a professional producer's workflow in how you can use AI in the real world and how you bridge the gap between AI music and professionally produced human music that has its genesis in AI. And once you look at it through that lens, everything changes. When the conversation around Riffusion picked up, the point was really simple. It's free, it's supposedly unlimited, and it is fast. And it is fast in generating music compared to the other platforms, which take up to a minute to 2 minutes to 3 minutes to generate a song or two songs. Riffusion usually can get a song up in about 30 seconds to a minute. And on paper, that sounds like a real challenge to Suno. But once you move past the headline, you run into the questions that really matter to producers. Can I control the output? Can I iterate? Can I export stems? Can I bring this into my digital audio workstation or DAW? Can I actually finish a track? And that's where the separation starts or begins. The first thing I'm going to talk about is not really music generation, but it's Suno's community and what Suno's community means for you as a music producer trying to learn how to use AI in your workflow or your music producing process. So the first thing that stood out to me wasn't the music, it was the environment. Suno feels like a real ecosystem. There's sharing, there's discovery, there's a sense that people are learning from each other. And that matters on a professional level because it really depends on what you're exposed to in the Suno community that will help you learn how to improve your prompts, really get the most out of Suno. Riffusion doesn't feel like that yet, and over time, the exposure you get to other creators' work in Suno affects how fast you improve. Now we're going to talk about prompt control, which is a very important section. This is where everything really changes. Riffusion gives you 100 characters to describe the style of your song, where Suno, Udio, and Marika give you 1,000 characters to describe your genre, your mood, your feel, the instrumentation, anything that you can dream up about how you want your song to sound. You've got 1,000 characters to work with. But I found out that in Udio, even though it can handle 1,000 characters, it's really only the first couple of hundred characters that sets the style and parameters for your song. Marika is a little bit better at using the 1,000 characters, but Suno uses all 1,000 characters for the style description of your song. And to be fair, Riffusion with the 100 characters does a pretty good job at generating music. Again, for the hobbyist, not for the professional music producer. And the 100 character style definition is a limitation. You're giving it a short sentence and hoping it lands somewhere with what you want. My experience is you get what you get and you can't go through iterations, editing, remixing, extending. Those tools just do not exist in Riffusion. Now with the table, let me show you how this compares across all 4 platforms. In this chart, you can see that Suno checks off all the boxes. Marika checks off a pretty good part of the boxes. Udio checks off a fair amount of the boxes. Riffusion doesn't check off very many of the boxes at all. Now let's break that down. Riffusion gives you 100 characters, and that's barely enough to describe your genre, instrumentation. Really, you can't do a whole lot with 100 characters. It's quite truncated. Udio gives you up to 1,000 characters, but it's not really designed for long-form prompting. In Udio, you could use more of the 1,000 characters, but effectiveness drops away after the first 100, 200, 300 characters. Marika gives you 1,000 characters. With Marika, it's a lot more flexible, but it still leans towards structured input. And then there's Suno's 1,000 character that allows you to define everything: genre, instrumentation, arrangement, vocal tone, production style, and emotional structure. That's not prompting, that's directing. And from a professional standpoint, the difference is massive. Now let's talk about after generation. Suno gives you full stems for each song you create, and you have a choice between vocals and instrumentals, or each stem of the song broken out, like drums, guitar, bass, vocals, keyboards. What other instruments there are will be in the stems when you go for the full stem allocation or functionality. Marika also supports stems. That makes both platforms, Marika and Suno, useful in a real-world production workflow. Riffusion, in my experience, offers you one stereo file. So one platform gives you control, while the other platform gives you a finished product that you're pretty much stuck with. And that's a huge difference. Now let's talk about lyrics, because in professional music production, lyrics matter. And to that point, I would recommend, if you are serious about professional music production, that you write your own lyrics. You do not use Suno's AI, or really any AI, to write lyrics. Get good at writing emotional stories, prose, poems, that you could turn into lyrics for your songs, and use those lyrics in the platforms that will allow you to do so. By the way, I'm not sponsored by Suno, and I'm not sponsored by Marika or Udio or obviously Riffusion. This is just my takeaways from having worked with AI for the past 2 months. In my earlier video where I talked about the making of my song Sunrise, which started in Suno, but eventually made it out to my professional production team, and the song that we produced in the real world mirrored pretty closely what we had in the AI version of the song. So Suno gives you full lyric control, as does Udio. Marika has it, but only in its custom mode, and Riffusion does not have it at all. So again, one group of tools gives you ultimate control over your end product, while the other sits on the side, which is Riffusion. Udio, Marika, and Suno lets you construct and produce a song while Riffusion generates that song for you. And I've said this already, that you're pretty much stuck with what you get. And it's kind of a crapshoot what you get. And that's a very different workflow. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about audio input and voice reproduction. Suno and Udio, and I believe Marika, lets you upload audio, but in Udio's case, you upload the audio and it only gives you a 1-minute slice of that audio to apply to your track, whereas Suno takes an entire song and you can cover that song or edit that song or extend that song and really rearrange the song, which I recently did on a Beach Boys song called The Only One, where my producer had me move the chorus to the beginning of the song and move what the song had started with, which was the hook, to later in the song. And I was able to do that in Suno and then bring it to my production team and get him a demo of what it would sound like with the new arrangement. With Suno's beta voice functionality, you can hook up your interface to your computer. You could sing into the beta voice function and it will make a representation of your voice for your song. And that turns AI into a collaborator, not just a music generator. Riffusion, Udio, and Marika do not offer this feature, at least as of now. And this is April of 2026. Music is not generation, it's iteration. You generate, you adjust, you rebuild, you refine. And Suno supports this with remix, extend, and edit. Udio also has editing tools, which are pretty handy. Marika has structured refinement. Riffusion does not match that level of workflow yet, and it may never. And from a professional standpoint, workflow is everything. Now I'm going to take a little bit of a step to the side here and talk about something that I recently discovered, which is AI detection. This is only important if you are trying to copyright your music and you're worried that you have AI in your music, and if somebody uses like an AI detection tool like they have on SubmitHub, and it says that 83% of your music was human and AI, and whether or not that's going to become prevalent in the industry so that production houses and PROs and things like the MLC start using AI detection tools to determine whether or not your song contains AI content. But what I did is I ran the pure human version of Sunrise through the AI detection in SubmitHub, and it came back and said that it was 83% human and AI, when there was absolutely no AI involved in the making of the final version of Sunrise. So I think these tools have a way to go before they are industry standards that companies could use to reliably detect AI or not. So I wouldn't worry about it too much at this point. Now let's talk about something even more important. If you generate a song on a platform like Suno and you want to copyright it, you need to understand something. AI generated music by itself may not always qualify for copyright protection. So here's the best practice. Take your AI stems and drop them into a DAW, digital audio workstation, like Ableton Live, for example, or Pro Tools. But Ableton Live is a web-based application, and it's really suited for using AI stems. So take your AI stems into Ableton Live and then recreate each track, maybe keep the vocals, but guitar, bass, I would re-record those and get rid of the AI guitar and bass. I would get rid of the AI drums and use a drum sampling plugin. So replace tracks with real instruments or use plugins. An example would be if you don't have a live drummer available, there are very good drum emulating plugins that you can use with Ableton Live or any DAW or digital audio workstation, and they sound very, very close to analog drums. What you are doing is you are transforming this track. You are taking something that may not be copyrightable into something that is absolutely copyrightable, and that protects your music, especially if your music is going to be used for sync licensing, for example, and you're giving the music supervisor an exclusive right to your music. You don't want other people covering your music when you're giving exclusive rights to music to a music supervisor or a film production company or TV production company. So that's why it's important to take your stems into a digital audio workstation, replace as many instruments as you can, and if you've got a great singer, replace the vocal track. But I've heard tracks where the AI vocals stayed, and because a great portion of the other tracks were redone by humans, the track was a human-created product. Now let's zoom out and look at everything together. Suno is the most complete system. Marika is strong for production as well. Udio is strong for generation, but I don't like what it does with lyrics as far as human-like phrasing. It doesn't interpret lyrics in a way that sounds like somebody's actually singing it. It sounds like something AI has made. So now I'm going to show you another table, which is pricing. And you can see that the platform's Riffusion is free. That's really great if, once again, you're a hobbyist and you just want to create music for fun. But Suno, Udio, and Marika range from $10 a month to $30 a month, depending on what tier you're using. But price is not the decision. Workflow is. Who should use what platform? If you're a songwriter or singer, and that would be Suno. If you're a producer, Suno or Marika. If you want fast generation, because time is of the essence, Udio. And if you're just experimenting, Riffusion all day long. Final verdict, here's where I land, and I think it's obvious. Riffusion is impressive for 100 character prompt, but it's very limited. Suno is a full production tool. Marika is close behind Suno for production value. Udio is strong creatively, but the most complete platform at this time in 2026 is without a doubt Suno. So we're going to wrap this up. I would love to hear from you, what platform you're using, what you're using it for. Please leave a comment in the comments section. Any questions you have, I read every comment, respond to every comment. Please like and subscribe the video if you enjoyed this and got value out of this. And I will be back with another video shortly. So see you later. And from Gary Dranow's Song Lab, this is Gary Dranow.